it's Vanessa, the Crafty Gemini. I post weekly crafting, cooking, and organic gardening videos right here on my YouTube channel. In this video, I'm teaching you how to make a Storytime playmat for kids. So the fabrics we're using for this project were provided by Shannon Fabrics, and I selected their superhero collection because it has really cute graphics and prints, and they come in a variety of colors, right? So for the back, it's this fabric here that just has a ton of words on it, like kaboom, pow, zonk, stuff like that, like for superheroes, right? And that's the backing, and then the front of it, I'm using a panel from that collection. So the fabric is pretty thick already to begin with, that's why it's so soft and fuzzy, right? But I wanted to make it just a little bit thicker, so I added a layer of batting in the middle. Now let's start with the project, and I'll show you how easy it is to make this little Storytime mat. So the first thing we're going to do is start with the front, and I'm using a panel here. I'm just checking the width. It's about 58 inches, and so that's what I'm going to use. It's 58 inches by about 36 inches, so 1 yard, and I trimmed off all the selvages. Now I'm going to cut a corresponding piece for the backing fabric. So you want the front and the backing to be the exact same size. So I'm trimming off a piece here, so I start off with a straight edge, and now I'm going to measure it the other way because I need 36 inches this way. Since the fabrics are from the same collection, the width is going to be the same. So I just need to cut off the length that I need, which in this case is the 1 yard. So both my pieces are 36 inches by 58. You can make this in any size, but this is just what I'm working with. Now I'm going to open this up and I'm going to turn it the other way so I can trim off all the selvages, because you definitely don't want to show the selvages in your finished project. So just trim that off to begin with. Once you trim off your selvages, you should have 2 pieces of the Cuddle Fabric that are identical sizes, okay? In my case, it's 36 inches by 58, but again, you can make these in any dimensions you want. Now, I like to add a little bit more bulk to the middle of the mat, even though the Cuddle Fabric is pretty thick, but in my case, I'm going to add a layer of cotton and polyester blended batting. You can use any batting you want. Now, to layer our fabric pieces to get it ready for sewing, we're going to first lay down our batting piece. Then you're going to take one of your fabric pieces and lay it on top with the pretty side of the fabric facing up. If you cut your fabric accurately, you should be able to line up everything perfectly. So notice I'm matching up the raw edges on these corners. Next is to take the other piece of the Cuddle Fabric and lay it on top with the pretty side of the fabric, this time facing down. Okay, so you should be looking at the back of your fabric in this case. Again, match up all the raw edges, and then we're going to start to pin this around all 4 sides. Pin all the way around, keeping the edges as even as possible. Now we need to leave an opening so we can flip the whole thing out through it. Take some tailor's chalk or a marking device and mark about an 8 to 10 inch opening here. Then for stitching, we're going to use a straight stitch and about a 1/2 inch seam allowance. Start on one end and back stitch to secure. Make your way around and come back to the other end of your mark so you have this chunk right here unstitched. Now this is a walking foot, and this for me is a must-have whenever I'm working either with stretchy fabrics or I'm working with bulky layers like in this project. Make sure that you get something like this for your machine. I'll include a link on where you can find some. This is going to help feed bulky layers of fabric through your machine a lot more evenly. Again, I'm also keeping with the 1/2 inch seam allowance because the fabrics will move on you no matter how well you pin or how slow you stitch. So don't worry about that. You can trim it down later. So after you've stitched all the way around, go ahead and trim your corners just like I did here at an angle, and that's going to help reduce the bulk. Now for our opening here, don't trim anything there. You're going to need some fabric to flip it under once we turn the whole thing right side out through. So reach in through that opening, flip your entire mat inside out, or right side out I should say, and then give the whole thing a good press. Now you will be able to machine wash and dry this mat, but one thing you need to do first is to secure all 3 layers of the fabrics you have. Otherwise, once you start washing it, the batting that we have in the middle of the mat may start to clump up and fall apart. So read the manufacturer's instructions and see how far apart your quilting needs to be. In my case, I'm just going to stitch some straight lines all around here to secure everything in place. For our opening, just tuck the edges in, pin them together, and you'll be stitching that down as well. Just to show you an example of where I'm stitching, I'm going to follow some of the straight lines on this panel here. And again, the walking foot comes in very handy here since we're sewing through so many thick layers. Just a straight stitch and just remove your pins before you get to them, of course. Don't ever sew over your pins. And just sew a few straight lines from edge to edge just to make sure that we're securing that batting down on the inside of our mat. And that's it. Your Storytime mat is complete. I hope you'll consider giving this project a try. Definitely check out all the different Cuddle Fabrics that Shannon Fabrics has. If you enjoyed the video tutorial, hit it with a thumbs up below, share it across the different social media sites, and don't forget to click that subscribe button so you won't miss out on any of my future video tutorials. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.